The trade ship Morning Star drifted gently through the quiet stretch of space, its silver body reflecting the distant light of a nearby sun. Inside the cockpit, Captain Haroon kept his eyes on the navigation screen. The small planet ahead was called Ryan, a farming world known for peaceful valleys and strange plants that grew nowhere else. It was not on most trade maps, but Haroon had heard from a friend that Ryan's people were kind and liked to exchange gifts with travelers. Behind the captain, the crew moved about with quiet excitement. Rami, the ship's botanist, adjusted his small satchel, making sure his plant scanner was ready. Beside him, Tarek, the engineer, checked the ship's landing gear. They had been traveling for weeks, and everyone was eager to set foot on solid ground again. The landing was smooth. The Morning Star touched down on a wide plain just outside a small settlement. Through the ship's window, the crew could see fields stretching to the horizon, each full of tall green stalks, low bushes with bright orange leaves, and vines crawling over wooden frames. The air outside shimmered with heat, but a light breeze bent the crops gently, carrying the sweet smell of fruit into the air. When the ship's ramp lowered, Haroon stepped out first, followed by Rami and Tarek. The ground was soft under their boots, and the grass here had a silver-blue color that glistened in the sunlight. Several local farmers stood nearby, their skin tinted in shades of green and blue, their large eyes blinking slowly as they studied the newcomers. Their clothing was simple, made from plant fibers and decorated with patterns that looked like twisting vines. From behind the farmers came a small figure running at full speed. It was a young alien girl with bright green skin, long braided hair that shimmered like wet leaves, and eyes the color of the clear sky. She held two large golden fruits in her arms, each about the size of a human head. Her smile was so wide it made Rami blink in surprise. She skidded to a stop right in front of them, holding the fruits close as if they were treasure. Her voice was high and clear. "I know humans love melons," she declared with complete certainty. Haroon raised an eyebrow, glancing at Rami, who was trying not to laugh. The girl hugged the fruits even tighter, as if she feared they might be taken without care. "They are for you," she said. "I grew them myself." Rami stepped forward and knelt so he could meet her eyes. "Thank you," he said gently. "These are beautiful. What are they called?" The girl tilted her head. "They are called Suna melons. They grow only here, in our warm soil, under our twin suns." "My name is Luma," Haroon smiled. "It is an honor to meet you, Luma. I am Haroon, captain of this ship. These are my friends Rami and Tarek. We came to trade and learn about your world." Luma's eyes brightened. "Then you must try my melons. They are sweet, and they give strength. My family says humans will like them more than anything." The other farmers watched quietly, their expressions soft. One older alien stepped forward and placed a hand on Luma's shoulder, speaking in a slow voice that seemed to hum in the air. Luma nodded and turned back to the humans. "You are welcome to walk through our fields," she said. "I will show you where the best melons grow." Rami took one of the fruits carefully, feeling its smooth golden skin. It was surprisingly heavy, and it gave off a gentle warmth. As they followed Luma, Rami whispered to Haroon, "This is strange. Most fruit cools in the breeze. This one feels alive." The path through the fields was peaceful. Tall plants swayed, their leaves rustling softly. Small flying creatures with transparent wings darted between the stalks, landing briefly before taking off again. Luma walked with quick, light steps, pointing to different crops and naming them in her own language, then giving the human words when she could. She was proud of her home and seemed eager to share everything about it. They reached a section of the field where vines twisted around carved wooden poles. Golden fruits hung from the vines, glowing faintly under the sun. Rami's eyes widened. "These are incredible. I have never seen fruit produce light like this." Luma laughed softly. They drink the light of the suns during the day. At night, they give it back. Tarek bent closer to one of the fruits, touching it lightly. It's warm, too, he said, like it's holding the sunlight inside. Luma nodded. That is why they are special. They can grow where other food cannot. Even in cold places, they stay warm and sweet. Haroun studied her carefully. She was young, but her voice carried the seriousness of someone who understood the value of what she held. Do your people trade these melons often? He asked. Luma shook her head. No, we share them with our friends, but we do not send them far away. They are precious, but I want to give them to you, because I think humans need them. Her words made Rami pause. Why do you think humans need them? Luma's smile faded for just a moment. She looked away toward the distant hills before answering. Because humans travel far, and far places can be hard. I hear stories from traders. I want you to have something that will help. The crew exchanged glances. They had met traders who spoke of struggling colonies, where soil was poor and food supplies thin. A crop like this could change everything. Rami's mind was already turning with possibilities, imagining fields of golden melons growing on worlds that had never known fresh fruit. As they walked back toward the ship, Haroun noticed that Luma carried the melons carefully, as if they might break. The way she held them made him think they were more than just food. They were hope, wrapped in golden skin. When they reached the ship, Luma handed both fruits to Rami with a smile that returned full of warmth. These are for you, she said again. Taste them when you are ready. You will see. The crew thanked her, and Haroun promised they would return the kindness. Above them, the suns dipped slightly toward the horizon, casting long shadows across the silver-blue grass. The air was still sweet with the scent of the fields, and in that moment the crew felt they had found something far more valuable than they had expected. The suns of Rion had begun to dip lower, painting the sky with streaks of orange and gold. The morning star stood quietly in the field, its silver surface gleaming under the twin lights. Rami sat at a small workbench inside the ship's cargo bay, the two golden fruits resting in front of him. His plant scanner was active, its green light sweeping over the smooth skins. Tarek leaned against a crate nearby, watching with mild interest. They just look like melons to me, he said. They are not just melons, Rami replied without looking up. Their structure is unusual. Look at this reading. The outer shell is strong like a thick leaf, but the inner layer is dense with nutrients. I have never seen such concentration in a fruit before. Haroun entered the bay, wiping his hands after checking the ship's exterior. Nutrients are good, but we came here for trade goods. Can we grow them somewhere else? That is what I am trying to find out, Rami said. If we could grow these on other worlds, it could change things for colonies that have trouble producing food. Before Haroun could answer, the sound of light footsteps came from outside. Luma appeared at the ramp, carrying a small woven basket filled with more golden melons. Her face lit up when she saw the humans studying them. Did you taste them yet? She asked eagerly. Not yet, Haroun said with a small smile. Rami is still examining them. Luma stepped inside and placed the basket on the workbench. I brought more for you. These are the best ones from the vines. She hesitated, then added, They can last for many cycles without spoiling. That is one of their gifts. Rami picked up one from the basket. That is unusual, he said. Most fruit will rot quickly. They keep their life inside, Luma explained. They keep the warmth of the suns even in the cold. Haroun leaned forward slightly. That is impressive. But Luma, if they are so valuable, why are they not traded to other worlds already? For a moment, Luma's cheerful expression dimmed. She glanced toward the open ramp, as if making sure no one else was near. It is not easy, she said quietly. There are those who do not want us to share them. They believe the melons should stay here under our control. Rami frowned. Why? If they are as useful as you say, they could help a lot of people. Luma met his eyes. Because they do more than feed. Inside the seeds there is a crystal. It grows with the fruit. That crystal holds energy, like the power you use to run your machines. If you plant the seed, it grows into another melon vine. But if you take the crystal out, it can be used to power small devices. Tarek straightened, his curiosity now clear. So these are food and power at the same time? Yes, Luma said. But that is also the danger. If those who want control over other worlds get these, they will not share them. They will use them to keep power for themselves. Harun crossed his arms. And you trust us with this? Luma nodded slowly. I have seen humans help others, even when it is hard. My family told me about a human ship that saved a colony near the edge of space. I want my melons to go to people who will share them, not keep them locked away. The cargo bay was quiet for a moment. The hum of the ship's systems filled the air as the crew considered her words. Rami turned the fruit in his hands, looking at it as if seeing it for the first time. Luma, he said, if what you say is true, then these melons could be worth more than anything we have ever traded. But that also means they could bring danger to your people. She looked down at her hands. I know. That is why I am giving them to you now. My family grows them in secret, away from the main trade routes. I want you to take them far from here, so they can be planted where they will do the most good. Harun studied her. You are very young to make a choice like this. I am old enough to know what is right, she said firmly. Rami's scanner beeped softly, pulling his attention back to the readings. Captain, you should see this. The energy crystal inside each seed produces a stable output. It could run a communicator for weeks without recharge, and the plant structure means we could grow more anywhere with basic soil and water. Tarek whistled under his breath. No wonder someone would want to keep these hidden. Harun nodded slowly. This is bigger than we thought. But Luma, if we take these, will your people be in trouble? Luma shook her head. Only my family knows the full truth. Others think they are just rare fruit. But there are outsiders who have heard rumors. That is why you must be careful. The captain considered her words. We will be careful, but we will also make sure these melons get to people who need them. That is a promise. Luma's smile returned, small but genuine. Then I will trust you. The crew spent the rest of the evening talking with her about how the melons grew. She explained that the vines liked warm soil and strong sunlight, but they could adapt to cooler places if given enough light from lamps. The crystals formed naturally inside each seed. As it grew, feeding on the sunlight the fruit collected. Rami took careful notes, recording every detail. Tarek examined the idea of using the crystals for emergency power packs. Harun thought about the struggling colonies they had visited and how something like this could change their lives. By the time night fell, the sky above Ryan had turned deep, purple, with the two suns replaced by a scattering of bright stars. From the open ramp, they could see the fields glowing faintly where the melons hung. The light was soft and golden, like tiny lanterns in the dark. Luma stood at the edge of the ramp, looking out at her home. They are most beautiful at night, she said softly. That is when they give back all the light they took in during the day. Harun joined her. They are beautiful, he agreed. And they are more than that. They are hope. She glanced up at him. Hope must be shared, or it is wasted. The captain nodded. Then we will share it. Far above them, in the silent sky, a small shadow moved across the stars. It was gone in a moment, unnoticed by the crew. But Luma's ears twitched slightly, and she turned her head as if sensing something far away. She said nothing, but her grip on the basket of melons tightened just a little. The next morning, the fields of Ryan glowed under the rising twin suns. Light shimmered on the silver-blue grass, and the golden melons sparkled like drops of sunlight trapped in vines. Inside the Morning Star, the crew gathered in the mess area for breakfast. The sweet scent of sliced Suna melon filled the air. Rami had finally cut open one of the fruits the night before. The inside was soft and golden, with juice that carried a warmth even after being removed from the vine. Everyone who tasted it agreed it was unlike anything they had eaten before. It was sweet, but not in a way that tired the tongue. After eating, they had felt alert, strong, and strangely peaceful. Tarek leaned back in his chair, still chewing. If people back on the colonies tried this, they would never want to eat anything else. Harun was more serious. That is what worries me. People will fight over this, just like they fight over fuel, water, or land. Rami nodded. I agree, and Luma is right. If the wrong group finds out about the crystals inside, they will not think about food first. They will think about control. Luma sat quietly at the table, hands folded in her lap. She had been cheerful the day before, but today there was a shadow in her eyes. Harun noticed. You are quiet. Is something wrong? She hesitated before speaking. Last night I heard something in the sky. A sound I know too well. It was a ship moving slowly, as if watching. I think it was them. Rami frowned. Them? The ones who want to take the melons, Luma said. They are not from Ryan. They are traders from far away, but not like you. They take what they want. They do not ask. My family hides our best vines because of them. If they saw your ship here, they will guess the truth. Tarek looked uneasy. How many are there? I do not know, Luma admitted. They travel in groups. They have fast ships with dark metal hulls. They paint them so they do not shine in the sun's light. That way, they can hide until they are close. Harun thought for a moment. If they are watching us, we cannot stay long. We should load the melons we can take and leave before they decide to act. Luma's gaze was steady. If you leave now, they may follow you. If they see you have the melons, they will hunt you until you give them up. The room fell silent. Rami set down his cup slowly. Then we need to find a way to move without them knowing what we carry. Tarek shook his head. Hard to hide. Something that glows like a lantern and gives off energy readings. Luma spoke again, her voice quiet. There is a way. My people have a storage fabric made from the leaves of the shadow vine. It blocks light and hides heat. We use it to protect our fruit from sunstorms. If we wrap the melons in it, they will look like ordinary cargo. That could work, Rami said, hopeful. But Harun still looked troubled. That solves one problem, but not the bigger one. Even if we hide the melons, they may still attack us just to see what we have. And if they capture you, Luma, they will learn the secret. Her jaw tightened. Then I will not be captured. The captain studied her for a moment, then nodded. All right. We work fast. Get the shadow vine fabric. We will pack the melons today and prepare for launch. Luma stood. I will bring the fabric from my family's farm. It is not far. Harun looked at Rami. Go with her. Keep her safe. Tarek and I will secure the ship and prepare for a quick takeoff. The walk to Luma's farm took them through rolling fields and narrow dirt paths lined with tall plants. The air was warm, but the wind carried the fresh scent of soil and fruit. Luma moved quickly, glancing at the sky now and then. Rami kept pace beside her, his scanner hanging at his side. You really think they saw us? He asked. I am sure, Luma replied. The sound was too close, and they have been near before. We have lost traders who came to buy melons. They left, and their ships never returned. Rami's stomach tightened. That is not good. When they reached the farm, Luma led him to a low building made of stone and covered with thick vines. Inside, bundles of dark, wide leaves hung from the ceiling. She pulled one down and unrolled it to reveal sheets of a strange, woven material. It was soft, but it drank in the light, making it look almost invisible in the dim room. "This will hide them," she said. "Even a scanner will not see through it." They gathered several rolls of the fabric and placed them in a cart. As they turned to leave, Luma froze. Her eyes locked on the horizon. Rami followed her gaze and saw a faint shape in the sky, a dark, flat shadow moving slowly toward the fields. "That is one of their scouts," Luma whispered. Rami felt his pulse quicken. "We need to move. Now!" They hurried down the path, pushing the cart faster than before. The shadow in the sky grew larger, angling toward the settlement. By the time they reached the morning star, Haroun and Tarek were already outside, looking up. "They are here sooner than I thought," Haroun said sharply. "Get that fabric inside." The crew worked quickly, carrying the rolls into the cargo. Bay and wrapping the melons, the shadow vine fabric worked as promised. Once covered, the golden glow disappeared, and the scanner readings dropped to almost nothing. "Good," Tarek said. "At least they cannot see what we have." But outside, the dark shape had grown into a sleek black ship that hovered low over the fields. Its hull absorbed the sunlight, making it look like a hole in the sky. A deep hum filled the air as it circled slowly, watching. Haroun's voice was calm but firm. "They know we are here. The question is whether they act now or wait for more of their ships." Luma stood beside him, her hands clenched. "If they are patient, they will call for others. And then it will not be one ship. It will be many." Rami looked from the alien ship to the captain. "What do we do?" Haroun's eyes stayed on the black vessel. "We prepare for the worst. If they make a move, we will be ready." High above, the enemy ship drifted in slow circles, silent except for its low hum. The fields below seemed peaceful, but the air was heavy with the knowledge that danger was no longer a rumor. It had arrived. The black ship hovered for most of the morning, circling the settlement in slow, careful loops. It kept its distance, never coming close enough to touch the ground, but always staying in sight. The farmers worked with uneasy glances toward the sky, and the hum of the strange vessel seemed to press down on the fields like a heavy cloud. Inside the morning star, Haroun's voice was calm but sharp as he gave orders. "We will not leave until we know the way is clear. Tarek, check the engines again and be ready for a fast launch. Rami, make sure the melons are secured under the shadow vine fabric. Luma, stay inside until I say otherwise." Luma looked out the cargo bay door toward the fields. "If they are here, they will not wait forever. They will try something before the sun set." Haroun met her eyes. "Then we will be ready when they do." By midday, the black ship suddenly changed its pattern. It moved away from the settlement, drifting low toward a ridge on the far side of the valley. For a moment, the farmers relaxed, thinking the danger had passed, but Haroun did not move from the ramp. "They are not leaving," he said. "They are hiding." Tarek joined him at the ramp. "Why hide if they already know we are here?" Haroun pointed toward the horizon. "Because they are not alone." From behind the ridge, 3 more black ships appeared, flying in tight formation. They dropped low over the hills, engines silent until they were almost over the fields. Then the deep hum returned, louder and sharper than before. The sound made the air tremble. Rami stepped to the ramp, scanning the incoming ships. "They are armed, and they are heading straight for us." Haroun turned to his crew. "Positions. We will not fire first, but we will not be taken." Luma gripped the edge of a crate. "They will go for the melons. If they get inside, they will take them all." "Then we keep them out," Haroun said, firmly. The first black ship landed near the far edge of the field, kicking up dust and bending the crops under its blast. Its side hatch opened, and tall figures stepped out. They wore smooth black armor that reflected no light, and their movements were quick and sharp. Each carried a short weapon that glimmered faintly. The second and third ships landed closer to the settlement. Their crews spread out, moving toward the morning star in a slow, deliberate advance. The fourth ship stayed in the air, circling like a hawk. Harun's crew moved fast. Tarek dragged an old farming machine from beside the barn and parked it across the main path to the ship's ramp. It was heavy, rusted, and covered in dust, but its thick frame could block the way for at least a few moments. Rami grabbed long metal poles from the storage racks and handed one to Luma. "These are for tripping their machines if they get close. Stay behind me." Luma nodded, holding the pole tight. Her face was tense, but her eyes were steady. The first group of black-armored raiders reached the edge of the field. They stopped, scanning the area with small devices on their wrists. One of them pointed toward the morning star, and they began to move faster. "Here they come," Tarek muttered. Harun's voice was steady. "Wait until they are close. We use the traps first." The crew had set their traps quickly, but carefully. Small farming carts had been overturned in narrow paths between the fields, ropes tied low across walkways, and piles of old metal parts placed where they could be pushed over to block routes. As the raiders approached the first path, they did not see the rope buried in the tall grass. The first two tripped, falling hard into the dust. The rest slowed down, scanning for more obstacles. That gave Rami enough time to roll one of the metal piles into the path, forcing them to split their group. Tarek used the farming machine's old power core to spark a short burst of smoke, hiding the ship's ramp from view. It was not enough to stop a determined attack, but it gave the humans an advantage in confusion. The raiders were careful now, moving from cover to cover, but Harun had already climbed to a high position on the ship's outer hull, using the vantage point to call out their movements to the crew below. "3 on the left, moving through the vines," he shouted. "2 coming straight for the ramp." Luma and Rami braced near the ramp. When the first pair of raiders appeared through the smoke, Rami used his pole to sweep their legs, knocking one into the other. Luma slammed the end of her pole into the ground to block the narrow space, forcing them back. Tarek, working near the engine housing, had another idea. He pulled a single melon from under the shadow vine fabric and tapped its side. The fruit glowed faintly in his hands. "If these crystals can power devices," he thought, "maybe they can overload theirs." He quickly wired the melon's seed crystal to a small transmitter, setting it to release a burst of energy. When the next group of raiders came too close, he tossed the device into their path. The crystal flared bright gold, and the raiders' wrist scanners went dark. Their armor lights flickered, and they stumbled back in confusion. "It works," Tarek called. The black ship circling above finally made its move, lowering toward the field as if preparing to land. Harun knew they were trying to drop more attackers directly onto the morning star. He called to Tarek, "Engines ready?" Tarek's hands flew over the controls. "Almost!" Rami shouted from the ramp. "We cannot hold them much longer." Luma's voice cut through the noise. "Then we leave now." Harun looked at her and saw no fear, only determination. "All right, everyone inside." They pulled back into the cargo bay, sealing the ramp. The raiders outside pounded on the hull, but the Morning Star's engines roared to life. Tarek pushed the thrusters hard, and the ship lifted off the ground in a blast of dust and wind. The raiders scattered below, shielding their faces from the spray of soil. The black ships turned to follow, their engines flaring. "Hold tight," Harun said, steering sharply toward the upper atmosphere. "They will chase us, but we are faster." Luma stood beside him, watching the black ships grow smaller behind them. "They will not give up," she said quietly. Harun nodded. "Then we will make sure they never catch us." The morning star broke through the thin clouds, leaving the farmland of Rion behind. But in the silence of space above, the enemy ships were already adjusting their course to follow. The Morning Star climbed higher into the pale sky of Rayon, but the black raider ships were still behind, their engines glowing cold blue. They moved like hunting birds, waiting for the right moment to strike. Haroun kept the ship steady, but his eyes flicked between the navigation screen and the view outside. "We cannot outfly them in the atmosphere," Tarek said from the engineering console. "They know these skies better than we do." Luma stepped forward. "Then we must fight them here where we have help." Haroun glanced at her. "Help?" She nodded. "The farmers, the fields, the tools. We can make them fight against the raiders." Haroun thought for a moment. Then he turned the ship sharply, diving back toward the farmland they had just left. The sudden move caught the raiders off guard. The Morning Star roared over the silver-blue grass, then slowed and landed in the middle of the main field. Rami was already unbuckling. "You are going to turn the farm into a battlefield." "Yes," Haroun said. "We know this ground better than they do now, and they will not expect us to face them head-on." They moved fast. Tarek hauled heavy farming machines into new positions, blocking the narrow paths the raiders would have to cross. Rami set up crates of melons in key spots, each wired to small devices to release a sudden burst of the crystal's energy. The plan was simple: overload the raiders' equipment and slow their advance. Luma ran to the farmer's storage barn, returning with bundles of the shadow vine fabric. She handed them out to villagers, showing them how to wrap the glowing fruit so they could move it without being seen. Others brought long poles, nets, and baskets. The farmers worked quickly, their faces grim. "They will come from the air and from the east path," Luma warned. "We must be ready for both." Haroun gave orders. "Tarek, take the north side with the big machine. Rami, cover the east path with the melon charges. Luma, stay near the center and direct the farmers. I will be on the ship to give cover fire if needed." The distant hum of engines grew louder. Dust rose on the horizon as the raiders' ground teams approached. Above, 2 black ships dropped lower, preparing to land. "Positions," Haroun called. The first wave of raiders entered the east path. They moved quickly, but as soon as they crossed the first row of vines, Rami triggered a hidden melon charge. The golden burst flared bright, and their scanners went dark. One raider stumbled into the tall plants, giving the farmers time to throw nets over him. From the north side, Tarek started the heavy farming machine. Its wide blades spun, throwing dirt and debris into the air. The noise and flying soil made the approaching raiders slow their advance, shielding their helmets. When one tried to run past, Tarek swung a long metal pole, knocking the weapon from the raiders' hands. In the center, Luma directed the farmers like a commander. She told them where to move the wrapped melons and when to throw baskets of dirt, to block the raiders' view. Her voice was clear and steady, giving courage to those who had never fought before. The air was filled with shouts, the hum of engines, and the thud of boots on soil. The black ships above lowered further, but Haroun fired short warning bursts from the Morning Star's forward cannons. The energy bolts hit the ground in front of the landing sites, forcing the pilots to pull back. "They are trying to box us in," Haroun warned through the comm. "Keep moving." The second wave came harder. These raiders carried small shield generators that blocked the melon bursts. They pushed through the east path, knocking over poles and vines. Rami fell back toward the center, shouting for help. 2 farmers stepped in, swinging long-handled tools, forcing the raiders to slow. On the north side, one black-armored attacker managed to climb onto the farming machine. Tarek grabbed him by the arm and pulled hard, sending the raider tumbling into the soft soil. Another farmer quickly tied his hands with rope. Luma spotted a group of raiders moving toward the largest stack of wrapped melons. She grabbed a pole and ran to intercept them. Her strike knocked the lead raider off balance, and 2 more farmers joined her, forcing the group back toward the field's edge. The Morning Star's cannons fired again, this time at the black ship, hovering low. One of the shots struck its wing, sending sparks across the dark hull. The ship wobbled and rose higher, losing its advantage. Then came the loudest sound yet, a deep roaring as the largest black ship descended directly toward the center of the field. Its shadow covered the golden vines. The side hatch opened, and more raiders poured out. "They are going for the heart of the field," Rami shouted. Harun's voice was firm. "Then we stop them here." Tarek rushed from the north side, carrying one of the biggest melon charges they had made. The crystal inside was large enough to power a generator for a month. He tossed it toward the landing zone just as the raiders reached the ground. The golden burst was blinding. The black armor flickered with light, and their weapons went dead. "Now," Harun called. Farmers surged forward with nets and poles. Rami and Luma moved among them, guiding their strikes and making sure the melons stayed safe. The raiders, without working equipment, began to retreat toward their ship. The black vessel tried to lift off, but its engines sputtered under the interference from the melon's energy. Harun took the chance and fired the Morning Star's main cannon. The shot hit the side of the ship, tearing open its wing. The raider pilot pulled away, smoke trailing behind. One by one, the remaining black ships broke off and climbed into the sky. The hum of their engines faded as they disappeared beyond the horizon. The fields were quiet again, except for the sound of the wind moving through the vines. The farmers lowered their tools, looking at one another in disbelief. Luma stood in the center of the field, breathing hard but smiling. Rami rested a hand on her shoulder. "You were right. The farm fought. With us." Harun stepped out of the Morning Star, surveying the ground. "We won this time, but they will be back. We cannot stay here." Luma nodded. "Then we must take the seeds far away before they return." Tarek grinned. "And now we know the melons can fight too." The farmers began gathering the remaining fruit, wrapping it carefully in the shadow vine fabric. The golden glow was hidden, but the promise it carried was stronger than ever. The Morning Star's cargo bay slowly filled, each crate holding not just food but the future. Harun looked toward the horizon where the raiders had fled. "They will not forget us," he said, "and we will not forget what we fought for." The Morning Star lifted smoothly from the fields of Rayon. The twin suns reflected off its silver hull as the ship climbed into the pale blue sky. Below, the farmers waved quietly, their faces filled with relief and pride. Luma stood near the cockpit, her eyes fixed on the horizon, watching for any sign of the black raider ships. "They will return," she said softly. "They will not forget what we did to their forces." Harun nodded. "Then we must stay ahead. Tarek, full thrust. We do not wait for them." The engines roared and the ship shot upward. The gravity of the small planet tried to pull them down, but the Morning Star overcame it easily. Rami checked the cargo bay, ensuring the shadow vine-wrapped melons were secure. "Everything is stable. The crystals are safe. No chance of them being detected in this condition." Tarek adjusted the navigation. "I plotted a course that keeps us under the planetary shadow for as long as possible. That way, if they follow, they will have trouble locking onto us immediately." Luma leaned against the wall, her green eyes reflecting the sunlight through the cockpit window. "I never thought I would leave Rian," she said quietly. "But this is necessary. The seeds must be planted where they can help many, not just one small valley." Harun glanced at her. "You are brave, Luma. We will protect you and the seeds. That is our duty." Rami smiled faintly. "I still cannot believe how these melons fought for us. They are more than food," Tarek laughed softly. "Next time, I want to see what happens if we plant a few on a human colony. Imagine the look on their faces." Harun ignored the jokes for now. "Stay focused. We are not out of danger yet. Sensors are picking up distant signatures. I think the raiders have regrouped in orbit and may try an interception." As the morning star reached the upper atmosphere, the faint black shapes of the enemy ships appeared near the edge of Ryan's orbit. 3 of them followed in formation, engines glowing cold blue. They were fast, sleek, and relentless. "They are catching up," Tarek said, hands moving quickly over the controls. "If we do not make a move, they will be upon us before long." Haroon studied the readings. "We will use a diversion. Rami, are the crystal charges ready?" Rami held up a small device made from one of the Suna melon seeds. "Yes, just a touch of energy, and it will disrupt their sensors for a few minutes." "Perfect," Haroon said. "We need every advantage we can get." The first raider ship dropped low, trying to cut off the morning star. Haroon banked sharply, diving behind a small asteroid field near the edge of the system. The raiders followed, but Rami activated the crystal charges. A bright gold pulse erupted from the device. The raiders' sensors flickered and went dark for several moments. Their ships swerved unpredictably, trying to regain control. Tarek took the opportunity to accelerate. "Hold on! Full speed!" The morning star shot forward, weaving through the asteroids. Rocks scraped past the hull, but the ship remained unharmed. Luma held tightly to a rail, her green eyes wide. "It is working," she whispered. "Yes," Haroon said, "but it will not last long. We must get far enough to escape." Before they regained control, the asteroid field thinned, giving the morning star a clear path. The raiders struggled to maintain formation after the sensor disruption. Haroon adjusted the course toward a distant nebula known for its dense energy clouds. "If we reach the nebula, their ships will have trouble tracking us," he said. Rami studied the readings. "It is a long route, but the nebula is perfect. The interference from the energy clouds will hide our path." Tarek grinned. "And we get to show them humans are smarter than machines." Haroon allowed himself a small smile. "Focus. We still have a fight ahead if they get too close." The morning star entered the nebula, and the glow of the energy clouds surrounded the ship. Sensors flickered, screens glowed unevenly, and navigation became tricky. Haroon adjusted constantly, keeping the ship steady. The raider ships were slowed, their engines straining as they attempted to follow. Luma breathed a sigh of relief. "I have never seen anything like this. We are safe for now." Rami smiled. "Not just safe. We have the advantage." But the black ships were relentless. One of them, smaller and faster than the others, broke off from the formation. It moved around the nebula's edge, trying to ambush the morning star. "Incoming!" Tarek shouted. Haroon twisted the controls, dodging a laser beam that flashed across the cockpit window. Sparks flew along the hull, but the ship held. "Rami, melon charges ready?" Rami nodded, activating a crystal burst toward the small attacker. The golden pulse hit the raider ship, causing its systems to flicker. The vessel wobbled in space, forcing it to retreat back to the main group. Luma watched, awe in her eyes. "They cannot touch us with those melons." Haroon's voice was firm. "They can still try. Keep your eyes open. We are not out of danger yet." The morning star accelerated through the nebula, using the dense energy clouds to mask its path. The raiders struggled to follow, engines straining and weapon systems impaired. Haroon allowed himself a glance at the cargo bay. The shadow vine-wrapped melons glowed faintly inside, their golden warmth hidden from sensors. Rami whispered, "They will grow. They will help many people. That is worth this risk." Luma smiled softly. "And we are keeping them safe together." Tarek adjusted the engines, guiding the ship through a narrow gap in the energy clouds. "Almost there. Just a little more, and we can break free." Haroon's eyes focused on the path ahead. "Hold steady. Once we exit the nebula, we have a clear path to the trade routes. They will lose us for good." The morning star surged forward, slipping out of the nebula and into open space. The Black Raider ships were far behind, struggling to navigate the energy clouds and losing speed rapidly. One by one, they fell back, unable to continue pursuit. The crew exhaled collectively. Luma's green eyes sparkled with relief. "We did it, we escaped." Rami nodded, smiling at the secured melons. "And the seeds are safe. They will grow, and many worlds will benefit." Harun allowed himself a quiet moment of pride. This is only the beginning. But today, we showed that humans and friends can overcome any threat, no matter how strong. Tarek leaned back in his seat, letting the tension fade. "Next time, let's hope they do not return so soon." Luma looked out the window at the distant stars. "No matter when they return, we will be ready. We have the melons, and we have each other." Harun nodded. "Exactly. And that is what will make the difference." The morning star sailed into the quiet of space, leaving Rayon and the threat behind, carrying the golden seeds of hope toward new worlds. The morning star glided quietly through space, leaving Rion and the Black Raiders far behind. The twin suns of that distant planet were now nothing but bright dots among countless stars. Inside the ship, the atmosphere had shifted from tension to calm. The crew worked steadily, checking the cargo bay where the shadow vine-wrapped melons were stored. Each crate was secure, the golden glow of the crystals hidden safely beneath the fabric. Rami walked along the bay, looking at the carefully packed seeds. "It is strange," he said softly. "Something as small as a seed can carry so much power and hope. We have carried entire worlds in these crates." Luma, standing beside him, nodded. "That is why we must protect them. These melons will grow where they are needed most. They will feed people and give them energy. They are a gift, but also a responsibility." Harun joined them, leaning against the wall. "We will make sure they reach the colonies safely, and once they are planted, we will see their full potential. This is what humans do. We build, protect, and share. That is why the galaxy will remember us." Tarek, adjusting the ship's course toward a distant habitable planet, smiled. "I never thought a simple fruit could become the center of such an adventure. But look at us now. We are traveling across stars with hope in our cargo bay." Days passed as the morning star moved through quiet sectors of space. The crew shared stories of their home worlds, laughed quietly over meals, and watched the stars stretch endlessly past the windows. Luma had begun teaching them about the melon's growth cycle. She explained how the seeds absorbed sunlight, how the crystals inside converted light into energy, and how each plant could produce dozens of fruits with care. Rami was fascinated. "This is more than biology. It is almost engineering in nature. A self-sustaining energy source and food supply in one. I have never seen anything like it." Luma smiled. "That is why my family keeps it a secret. Only those who understand responsibility should have it." Harun nodded. "And now you have humans who understand. That is why it is safe with us." The ship's communication system picked up signals from the colonies they had visited in previous missions. Harun sent a brief, secure message explaining that a supply shipment with experimental seeds would arrive soon. He did not reveal their origin, only that the shipment could help struggling worlds with food shortages and energy shortages. Tarek grinned. "Imagine their surprise when they see these fruits and the crystals inside." After weeks of careful travel, the morning star approached a lush green planet. Its surface was dotted with small settlements, farms, and rivers that sparkled under the sunlight. The atmosphere was breathable, and the land was fertile. "This is it," Harun said. "We will plant the seeds here first. If they thrive, the knowledge can spread to nearby colonies." Rami began preparing the land near the settlement's edge. The soil was soft and rich, perfect for the Suna melon vines. Luma unwrapped the first crate carefully, letting the golden seeds glow faintly under her hands. She handed one to Rami. "Plant it gently," she instructed. It needs care from the start. Treat it as you would a living friend." Rami smiled, digging a small hole in the earth. He placed the seed inside, covered it with soil, and gently pressed it down. Luma sprinkled. Water mixed with minerals from the planet's surface. The seed absorbed the moisture immediately, glowing faintly beneath the soil. Tarek planted another seed, and then Harun placed one himself. The crew worked steadily, each planting a small number of seeds while Luma guided their care. Soon, the first row of melons was planted, each tiny seed carrying the promise of growth and life. By the next morning, the first sprouts appeared above the soil. Golden leaves shimmered in the sunlight, absorbing the energy of the planet's sun. Luma clapped softly, her eyes shining. "They are alive. They will grow strong." Rami examined the sprouts with his scanner. "The energy readings are stable. The crystals inside are already converting sunlight efficiently. This is beyond what I imagined." Harun looked over the field. "And this is only the beginning. Soon the colonies nearby will benefit. Hunger and energy shortages can be solved here, and this knowledge will spread." Tarek chuckled. "And all because one alien girl trusted humans with a gift." Luma smiled at him. "Trust is the start of everything. Without trust, nothing can grow." The crew spent several days tending to the young plants. They built small, protective fences, ensured they had adequate water, and monitored the crystal's energy output. As the melons grew taller, their golden glow became brighter, though still hidden beneath the leaves. Villagers watched in amazement as the sprouts flourished, curious but careful to leave them undisturbed. Word soon spread among nearby colonies. People arrived to learn about the Suna melons, bringing tools, seeds from other worlds, and knowledge to share. Luma taught them about the vines, the crystals, and how to care for both. Rami developed small devices to help monitor the energy inside the fruits. Harun and Tarek organized shipments of seedlings to other settlements, ensuring the AI melons could thrive far beyond this single farm. Weeks turned into months. The sprouts grew into strong vines heavy with golden fruit. Children picked small melons with laughter. Farmers harvested larger fruits to feed their families, and the energy crystals powered small devices, lights, and machines. The colonies began to see a transformation. Crops thrived, people had energy for tools, and hope spread like sunlight over the hills. One evening, as the twin suns of the nearby star system set, the crew gathered in the field to watch the melons glow softly in the golden light. Luma stood in the center, smiling at the thriving vines. "These melons will change lives," she said softly, "and humans will carry their story across the stars. That is why I trusted you." Harun placed a hand on her shoulder. "We kept our promise, and we will continue to do so. You showed us what hope looks like." Rami looked at the golden fields, feeling pride and awe. "We have helped something grow that no one else thought possible. That is what makes this journey worth it." Tarek grinned. "And we are just getting started. Imagine the worlds that will see this." The sun dipped below the horizon, leaving the sky painted with orange and purple. The melons glowed faintly in the dark, a promise of light and life for the future. Luma whispered, "This is only the beginning." Harun nodded. "Yes, and with courage, trust, and determination, humans and friends will continue to bring hope wherever it is needed." Above them, the stars shone brighter, as if celebrating the success of a mission that had begun with trust, courage, and a gift. The galaxy was vast, but the actions of a few had already begun to make it better. The morning star rested nearby, ready for its next journey. But for now, the crew watched the golden vines, knowing that what they had started would continue to grow, spreading hope and life across countless worlds.